Good afternoon. My name is Gabby Fernandez, and I will be going over this week's discussion, which is going to be over the vice president candidate debate with Vice President Mike Pence and with Senator Kamala Harris. I'm going to go over just the general issues that were discussed in this debate, the moderator, and just some general observations I made. So first of all, the general topics that were named in this debate were, of course, the ongoing pandemic, the role of the vice president, the economy, climate change, China, the issue of abortion, racial injustice, naming a situation of Breonna Taylor, election 2020, and that very last question that was submitted by an 8th grader, which I thought was a very good touch. The moderator was Susan Page, which she's from the USA Today. This debate went a little bit different. I felt that she tried to stick to the rules of the times and the interruptions, and was very clear by stating the rules provided throughout the speech. There was certain occasions where she did mention to Vice President Pence, thank you, Vice President Pence, numerous times after he would go over his time in a polite manner, very professional, without having to yell it or cause attention or go over. It was just multiples. Thank you, Vice President Pence. Thank you, Vice President Pence. So in that manner, it would have been more effective if she would have had a little bit more authority or a little bit more say in regards to that versus just the thank you, Vice President Pence. Overall, I feel it as though Ms. Page could have used maybe her outside voice a little bit more, given the not so much the interruptions, but the going over on both sides at times. General observations, I noticed this time that everyone was wearing a mask this time in the audience. A smaller crowd than last time from what it seemed. Candidates had that separation boards, plexiglass, I believe, separating each other along with the additional 6 feet. So it was just it was a total of 12 feet between them. So they're just the general observations. And now going into the actual candidates. With Vice President Pence, I noticed that he went over several times on his questions. And by that, it was just after being told that his time was over, he would continue, and he would continue even after being asked multiple times by Ms. Susan Page to give time to the other candidate. I noticed that he would go back to a previous question asked, whether it was to close a point or not. That, in my opinion, it was just a time waster. Answer the question being asked so that they can move on, as opposed he was answering the previous question, not having enough time to answer the current question, so the next question comes and he does the same thing. So that wasn't a very effective move, in my opinion, but that was the way he did it. There was multiple questions that were not answered by Vice President Pence. Instead, the focus was just placed on President Trump. Something was said about President Trump. Something positive was said about the administration. So he didn't answer how the COVID death rate is higher here in the United States versus any other country. He didn't answer Roe versus Wade. He didn't answer the peaceful transfer of office. He didn't answer the question about the age of President Trump and why do if voters have the right to know about the president's health. So that, to me, that's not very convincing. The American people are watching the debate because they want to know what the candidates have in plan. What's the plan? No plan was given. No answer was given. Just a boost to the administration over the last 4 years, and that was pretty much it. A comment that he made that I found interesting was when he would tell Senator Harris, "You're entitled to your own opinion, but not your own facts." That, coming from an administration that basically coined the term fake news, I found that quite ironic, to be honest. I didn't feel as though this debate actually helped him or hurt him. He is known to be a very solid debater in regards to appearance, in regards to answers. He's known to evade questions. One of the CNN commentators, I believe, called him a serial evader. So he's known for that. This debate was very different versus the other one. So in my opinion, it didn't hurt him. It didn't help him. Once again, that's what he's known for. I just wish that for the American people's sake, he would have been able to answer a little bit more questions. He also, I believe, in my opinion, he proved what the book says in the last chapter 10 about affective polarization, which is the tendency of Democrats and Republicans to treat each other as stigmatized outgroup and to exaggerate the ideological extremity of the political group, when he constantly refers to former Vice President Biden as a communist cheerleader throughout the debate. So that is already putting a stigma towards former Vice President Biden with that coined term. In regards to Senator Harris, she came in smiling for the most part, and she kept it up throughout the debate. Whenever she was getting irritated, annoyed over Vice President Pence's answers, she still kept that smile going. Unlike former Vice President Biden, she actually looked at Vice President Pence when she was speaking at times to make a clear point or to just have that effect going. On certain questions asked that required a plan per se, she was able to provide one, which I found very effective for the American people. And for example, the question about taxes, and she went into a strategy mode and how the money would be used in regards to going towards education, cutting back on student loans, infrastructure. So that was a good thing to hear, to know that there is an actual plan. Whether it gets done, who knows? But at least there's an actual plan in action, or so they say. Once again, with Harris, there was questions that she did not answer, which was a bit hurtful, but it's a politics game. In regards to court packing and the age of former Vice President Biden, she did not answer those questions. So once again, she was very direct with most of them, and then it comes to some of these and she doesn't answer them. So that is a bit iffy, in my opinion. I did really like her debate line whenever she was getting interrupted the few times by Vice President Pence when she told him, "Excuse me, I'm still speaking." She was very clear, very direct, making a point that, hey, I have the stage, I have the microphone, I'm speaking. So instead of going back and forth and that unwanted banter, it was just very clear, I'm still speaking, and then she would continue. Overall, I believe that the debate helped her image solely because of her prior debates. She's known to make or create moments. In this debate, I'm pretty sure people were waiting for that moment, and she let them down in that aspect. But it helped her because I believe it helps balance out the Biden and Harris team. Biden is known for his quick outbursts and reactions, and if Senator Harris continues this, I feel as though she will balance that to where she'll be the calm and the poised person that can kind of pull back former VP Biden if he has his reactions or his outburst. As mentioned in the chapter 10 as well, the very last or the ending of the book, I believe, is very accurate. It mentions that politicians can lie and mislead with impunity, knowing that their supporters will remain steadfast and that the media fact checkers will be ignored. So once again, this proves true not only in the debates but in politics in general. There was many fact checkers at the end that there were certain ideas that were said by both Senator Harris and VP Pence, and they were proved to be either misleading or completely false. But it doesn't matter if you already have your pick done, or if you're a very strong Republican, very strong Democrat. In your eyes, Vice President Pence won. In your eyes, Senator Harris won. So the book or that sentence proves true when it comes to this debate in general, from what I saw the comments afterwards. So this was my general discussion over this last debate. Hope you guys enjoyed.